So apparently, the director had to chase around both the lead actors quite a bit to say yes to this movie. I'm going to share my thoughts, and you can decide if this movie is for you. Is it going to bore the hell out of you, or perhaps even scare the hell out of you? So stick around to find out my thoughts. Bhoothakaalam means the past, but it can also mean ghost time or time of the ghost. It released in SonyLIV. Now, I must say, SonyLIV is doing an amazing job with these kind of indie movies that's really grounded, kind of feels like the A21 movies. And they've got just a handful of Malayalam movies on their platform, but so far they're knocking it out of the park. And I really, really like the kind of movies that they choose. And I wish Netflix and Prime would produce more movies like this. There was a lot of things from the trailer that intrigued me. The story is fairly simple. Whatever you gather from the trailer is what you get from the story. It looks like at the heart of it, it's really a story between a mother and a son, and it looks like they've got a very dysfunctional relationship. But added to that, it seems like a psychological thriller. I'm going to make sure that I don't give away too much of the story, because I think that's the charm of the movie. So no spoilers here, but what I will say is many times you're going to wonder, is this a horror movie or is it more of a psychological thriller? That is one aspect of the movie that I enjoyed. At some point you're wondering, is this hallucination based, or is it something supernatural that's going on? But there are some very detailed elements in it thanks to the brilliant performance. I'll get to the performance in a bit. Let's talk about the director. It's directed by Rahul Sadasivan. He hasn't done too many movies before this, but what I must say is right from the opening scene, I understood that this is written by someone who's very passionate about this story and extremely capable as well. There's a lot of intriguing atmosphere that's built up. The background music by Gopi is absolutely brilliant. It really, really works for the movie. Yes, at times it can get repetitive. The classic high-strung music that just increases in volume and then drops out. I felt like at times the movie relied on that a little too much without showing us anything that's going on. The music did the job. However, for the most part, I really enjoyed the background music as well. So from the camera angles, you feel the atmosphere of that house, which is really eerie, almost claustrophobic in many ways. The lighting is extremely dim, very few bright and sunny days in that respect. I think all adds to the atmosphere of the movie, and a subtle direction of a horror drama. I think he's done a phenomenal job here, and I'd be excited to see more such movies from him. Just from the director's perspective, it looked like he wanted to make a movie that is subtle, but at the crux of it is a mother and son movie. And so there's an emotional core to the movie, and that's why he, I think, selected two of the best possible actors, which is Revathi playing the mother's role and Shane Nigam. Both of them knocked it out of the park. It's amazing how Shane Nigam is able to go toe to toe with someone as legendary and a veteran actress like Revathi. If it were not for their performance, I don't think I would have rated this movie as highly as I would. I'll get to my rating in a bit, but let me just rave about Revathi. What a brilliant actress. Now, she said no to this movie because it seems more like a horror movie, and she says she doesn't do it, but the script intrigued her. Now, same thing with Shane Nigam as well. He apparently said no a couple of times, and then when he read the script, he was really excited for it. And Revathi playing that mother who has some level of psychological issues, but it looks like she has a past, right? And she's burdened by her past. At moments, she says she's really haunted by the mistakes that she's made. So the fact that she's going through a lot is extremely evident. Her earnest, authentic portrayal, you feel it. You feel like this woman is running the house. She's got a almost useless son, and there's just so much of burden in her. There's loneliness in her. So Revathi was definitely one of my favorite, but I would also say Shane Nigam, this is hands down his best performance. I would even think he should win awards awards for the way he portrayed a really tortured soul. Every time he was on the screen, I believed it. He has, I think, that ability to be soft, but at the same time, he has an ability to explode. And in that respect, he reminds me of another excellent talent, that is Roshan Matthew. I think both Shane and Roshan are perhaps one of the best young talents that we have in the country. So Shane does an amazing job playing the role of a son that is really disheartened, disillusioned. He lost his father at a very young age, and he's not getting a job. At the same time, his mother doesn't want to let him go outside either. That's again evident from the trailer. You can see that. And so he's going through a lot as well, right? He's really directionless in many ways. Maybe he even has an alcoholic problem or even a drug problem. And that's alluded to as well in the trailer. Now, there's lots of tension between these characters that is excellently performed by both Shane and Revathi. So I would say watch this movie just for their performance. Now, coming to the other horror elements or hallucination elements, like I said, I think the direction was great. It wasn't over the top. This is not a big budget movie. For a horror movie, you want the audience to feel like, the main characters that you care about, hopefully you have an emotional connect, they're in danger and you're sitting at the edge of your seat. There are definitely creepy scenes or things that make you wonder, what is that? Now, does the movie accomplish that through the director? Yes. I would give this movie a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It is definitely above average. One of the things that I think this movie accomplishes is the fact that this horror or psychological drama is something that's really apt for a rural Kerala setting, right? You don't need a massive mansion or amazing CGI to make it work. Just the eerie atmosphere, the music, the performances. The characters are tortured by their past, but at the same time, there's external elements in that house or in their environment that also haunts them. So I think that is brilliantly handled, and I think it's an excellent movie. The only thing that maybe I would have changed is, the horror element or the background of that wasn't as compelling for me. Like I said, the two characters were compelling, so much so that I want to know more about this mother and son. I wouldn't mind if they even took the story further and made a second movie out of it. It's also a movie that will make you think about it long after the credits roll. And I was surprised by how short this movie was as well. There is a song that's thrown in that I felt was didn't really push the narrative forward. It was namesake. It was abrupt, just to show a romantic angle and relationship that I think was kind of forced in because maybe we need songs in Indian movies to sell it. Even the song, I didn't really enjoy it. It felt a bit generic, and even if they cut out that entire element and replaced it with more scenes between the mother and Shane, or maybe even flashbacks, that would have made it a lot more compelling. The only other gripe that I have is the other characters, they could have done a little bit more. Especially they had a character of a counselor, and I was hoping that he would do a little bit more. But I understand, I think the director used the counselor's character more like a window for the audience to find out what's going on. Closing of the movie, that's what I was a little afraid of. Will they land the movie well? Yes and no. It ended in almost a typical manner. I wouldn't say it's extremely bad. It's leaning towards cliche. It is a little bit anticlimactic for what they built up. I would recommend that you watch it and watch it with the lights off. Enjoy it. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think. If you've seen the movie, did you like it? Do you agree with my thoughts? What did you like about the movie? If you haven't seen it, I'd like to know your thoughts regarding the trailer. What kind of a movie do you think it is? And what do you think about the performances? Anything and everything, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.